Yesterday, at around 2 o'clock in the morning, a radical Islamist named Omar Mateen walked into a gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida, and shot 103 people. 50 of them have been killed. Omar Mateen pledged allegiance with the Islamic State. Despite being an American citizen, Mateen considered himself a soldier for ISIS. He was openly and unapologetically homophobic, according to his parents. He was disgusted after seeing two men kiss and often spoke about his hatred for gay men. Today, after one of the worst Islamic terrorist attacks in American history, there are a lot of questions that we must ask. There are a lot of things we still don't know. But there are also a few things that we do know. First, in a free and peaceful society like ours, no one should be afraid to be themselves or to go out in public. No one should feel like they are a target simply because of who they are or who they love. Second, this was an act of war, carried out by an agent with allegiance to our enemy. In the war against Islamic extremism, we're not only losing, we're failing to even come to terms with the basic facts of this war. Omar Mateen was not a lone wolf terrorist. He was an Islamist soldier at war against the West. He followed a very specific tactic repeatedly used by ISIS. The Islamic State leaders and its propaganda agents tell their followers to act alone and to strike civilian targets using any means possible: guns, cars, improvised explosives, even rocks and knives if that's all they have. This is the third year in a row that the Islamic State leadership have told their members to strike and kill civilians during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. Just a few weeks ago, the Islamic State released this statement.
If you can kill an American or European infidel, especially the spiteful and cursed French, or an Australian, or a Canadian, or any other disbeliever from the infidel fighters, including the citizens of those countries that entered into a coalition against the Islamic State, then rely upon God and kill them in any way possible.
They told their members to engage in deadly attacks against the West. They specifically told followers to strike civilian targets in the United States during the holy month of Ramadan right now. And it isn't just terrorists who call on Muslims to kill civilians in the West. Just 2 months ago, this radical Islamic scholar spoke at an Islamic center right in Orlando, Florida. I wonder if Mateen was in attendance.
There's nothing to be embarrassed about this. That death is the sentence. We have to have that compassion for people. With homosexuality, the same. Out of compassion, let's get rid of him now.
The guy said that gays must be killed out of compassion. And Omar Mateen listened. Look, he was not a lone wolf. He was an agent, listening to the direct commands of his leaders. And this is not just another mass shooting. Comparing this attack to other shootings in the US will do nothing to soften the resolve of the extremists who murder innocent people. We have to face these facts. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau failed to acknowledge the motive of this attack or the culprit in a statement that he released on Sunday. Instead, he called this, quote, a domestic terrorist attack. But that is a totally inaccurate term. Omar Mateen pledged allegiance to ISIS. ISIS is not a domestic group. It's an international force with agents and cells all over the world. To say otherwise is just wrong and misleading. Look, there's still a lot that we don't know about Mateen and the cowardly and horrific attack that he carried out. But there are a few things that we do know. We know that we must stand in solidarity with the families and the communities that are grieving after this horrible tragedy. And we also know who our enemy is. Radical Islamists have declared war against us over and over. They have engaged in acts of war against us again and again. We cannot win this war until we first acknowledge and then take aim at our enemy.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.